ratio as a fraction in simplest form in two other ways. So the first thing that we have to do is reduce it. So negative 48 over 6 reduces to negative 8 over 1. So that was part of the answer. The other two ways would be negative 8 to 1 or negative 8 to 1. So those, you have to have all three of those to get the problem correct. If you don't have all three, then it's wrong. Then it's wrong. Okay, find the value of the variable that makes the ratios equivalent. Easiest way to do this is cross multiply and divide. So take 4 times 35 and then divide by 14 and we get 10. So you didn't have to write 8 equals 10. You could have just circled the box 10. Same thing with number 3, cross multiply. 35 times 4 and then divide by 10 and we get A equals 14. Or you could have just put 14. On number 4, we have to set this up and use a equivalent rate. So we're going from feet to feet, right? But then we're going from minutes to hours. So we have to multiply by something that has hours on the bottom and minutes on the top. So what do you know about minutes and hours? There's 60 minutes and 1 hour. So then we just take 12 times 60 and we get, there are 720 feet per hour. If you just wrote 720 feet, that is okay. It would have to have feet. Yes, yes. If you didn't put them in that same order? Oh no, it would be wrong. It would be wrong. Because 8 over 1 is not the same thing as 1 over 8. Write the rate as a unit rate. When we talk about unit rates, it means the denominator is 1. So what do we have to do to get the denominator to be 1? Divide both the top and the bottom by 10. So $720. If you are at a hotel and your total bill is $720 and you stay there for 10 nights, you got a pretty good deal because you were only paying $72 per night. If you just wrote 72, that's fine. Or $72. But if you just wrote 72 in that case, it's fine. If you've got 40 total note cards and they're in 5 boxes, that means divide the top and the bottom by 5. And that means there are 8 note cards per box for that one. So 8 would be the correct answer. On 7, same thing, cross multiply and divide, or you could look at this one and say, what times 5 is 24? So 2 times 4 is 8. Or you could have said 2 times 20 is 40. 40 divided by 5 is 8 for that one. And on this one, tell whether or not this is a proportion. This is where you look at the cross products. You ask, does 3 times 15 equal 6 times 5? What is 3 times 15? 45. What's 6 times 5? Do those equal each other? No. So, no. Or false, or however you think of that. On number 9, cross multiply and divide again. 35 times 4 divided by 14, which this is a repeat. This one was already on here. So A equals 10, or just 10. Okay, this one, 10, 11, then of 50. The number with of is always on the bottom. So we are trying to find is. So we're going to take 210 times 50 and divide by 100, and we get 105. So if you did include the percent sign, that is wrong. And then number 12, we're going to use the same A over B is P over 100. Since we have a percent, we know that that goes where the P is. And the word, or the number 125 is associated with of, so that goes on the bottom. So then we're going to cross multiply 12 times 125 and then divide by 100, and we get 15. If you did put percent on this one, it is wrong. So it's just 15. Yes.
Number 10, I set it up the way it did. And I was like cross multiplied by it. I used decimal number and I just wrote that out.
No, because it worked out perfectly. So 217 times 100, that equals that. And then when you divide by 620, you don't get a decimal. So it's just 35%. Yeah.
So if you wrote all that out and put the right number on the spot, what you want to say, let's keep the number in the box.
I would be going off of what you thought. All right, number 13. Okay, on this one, same thing. A over B is P over 100. We know that P is the 35%, and then this is associated with the number is. So that's the numerator, and we're trying to find the of. So cross multiply 203 times 100, and we get that, and then we divide by 35. So is our answer a percent or is it a number? It's a number, and it's 580.
Plus it just says what number.
Right. So that helps. And then, same thing here. A over B is P over 100. We know P, it's 48. And now we've got to figure out, is 150 the total or is it the part? It's the total. So of the total, part of them are male. So we're trying to figure out what part. So we're going to take 48 times 150 and then divide by 100. Would it make sense to get a decimal here? Can we have part of a rabbit? No, not a living one at least. So 72. Is our answer a percent or is it a number? It's a number. That 72 means out of the 150 rabbits, 72 of them are male rabbits. So there's actually more female rabbits in that population than there are male rabbits. On this one, to make a percent a decimal, here's how you do it. Oops. Divide the numerator. I'm abbreviating. Divide the numerator by the denominator. I'm abbreviating. And multiply by 100%. Or, you can do it like this, 1 over 16 is what over 100? Either way. So, if I divide the numerator, 1, by the denominator, 16, I get that. And then I multiply by 100, and I've got to remember to include the percent sign. So, 6.25%. You would get the same thing if you cross multiplied 1 times 100, which is 100, and you divide it by 16, and then you have to add the percent sign on that one. Number 16, all we have to do is move the decimal point to the left or the right. Which way do you think we're going to move it? Okay, if we are going from decimal to percent, we move it 2 places to the right and draw the percent sign. So our answer would be 26.5%. Yes. You would need the 6.25. We go ahead and don't mark it wrong because it didn't say what decimal point to put it to. All right. Now we've got write the percent as a decimal and as a fraction. So to make a percent a decimal, we move the decimal place 2 places to the left, and we eliminate. So it would be 0.0003. Now, if we wanted to write that as a fraction, we would put it over 100, and then we would have to say, what do we have to multiply this by to get rid of the decimal place? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to multiply it times 10,000, right? So when we do that, we would get 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to do 3 over a million. So now as a decimal, it's just this. As a fraction, it would be that.
So if we get the fraction wrong, it would be like
Half. Yep. Yes. Half. Now to make this a decimal, we would do 2 places to the left, so it would be 0.22. And I think I may have told you on this one. I think I added too many zeros. Let me check, because you start here. Let me check. With this one, so with 0.22 as a decimal. As a fraction, we write it over. I did tell you too many decimals. This should just be 10,000. It should be 3 over 10,000. Sorry. On this one, 22 over 1. 0.22 is the decimal, and then 22 over 100, which reduces down to 11 over 50. So these would be the 2 answers here. And then, no, because the directions didn't tell you to. So you didn't have to reduce. If you put 22 over 100, that's fine, because the directions didn't say to write it in simple form. All right, on number 20. Easiest way to do this is to turn this into a decimal. How do you turn it into a decimal? Divide the numerator by the denominator. So we're going to take 4 divided by 11, and we get 0.3636. What is that in comparison to 0.35? Which one's bigger, which one's smaller? The first digit's the same, 0. The second digit's the same. This one's 6, this one's 5. So 0.36 repeating is greater than 0.35. 21 has 2 answers. So we've got tell whether the change is an increase or decrease. The first number is always the original amount. So is the new amount greater or smaller than the new amount? I mean the original, yes, it's smaller. So it's a decrease. Okay, so the easiest way to indicate decrease is just write a D. Okay? Easiest way to do that is just write a D. Okay? And then the formula for percent of change is the difference. So we're going to subtract 8.95 minus 6.40 divided by which amount? The original or the new? The original, which would be 8.95. So I'm going to take $8.95 minus $6.40, and that gives me $2.55. Am I done? Nope. I got to divide $2.55 by $8.95, and I get a decimal. Am I done? No, because I need it as a percent. Okay, so I'm going to take this, multiply by 100, and I get 28. It sounds round to the what? To the nearest 10. So I get 28.5%. So you've got to have it written like that. On 22 and 23, those are 2-step problems. The first thing that we need to do is we need to make the percent a decimal. and then we're going to multiply. So I'm gonna take 0.75, because that 75 is a decimal. I'm gonna multiply by 32. When I do that, I get 24. Now is 24 my answer? No, that is what I'm going to increase my original amount by. So does increase mean add or subtract? Add. So I'm going to now add 24 back to 32. And my answer is 56. Is that a percent or a number? It's a number. Yep. I'm going to do the same thing with number 23 at first. I'm going to make the percent a decimal, which 75% is a decimal, it is 0.75. I'm going to multiply by 28. When I do that, I get 21. Is 21 my answer? No, I have to decrease the original amount by 21. So does decrease mean add or subtract? Subtract. So I'm going to take my original amount of 28, and I'm going to decrease it by 21 to get 7. Is that a percent or a number? It's the same number. So 7 is the answer. Now for 24, we kind of do it the same way. It's just we've got to understand that discount means decrease on 24. So I'm going to make the percent a decimal. And then multiply by the original price. So I'm going to take 0.15 times 10, and I get 1.5. Is that my answer? No, that's what I'm decreasing the original amount by. So I'm going to take my original amount, which is 10, and I'm going to subtract 1.5. And when I do that, I get 8.5, which is the same thing as $8.50. So if the original price of something, the item was $10 and it's 15% off, you're going to get it for $8.50. Number 25, it says, tell whether the new price is a discount or a markup. Well, the original price is $28,200. The new price is $29,050. So is that an increase or decrease? Increase. So is that a discount or a markup? It's a markup. So you could just say it's a markup. That's the first part of the answer. It says then find the percent of discount or markup. We do that by that equation we talked about up here. We subtract the two amounts. Oops. Anybody catch my mistake? What's my mistake?
You did it first.
Yeah, you divide by the original. Okay, and then remember to get it as a percent, you multiply times 100%. So I'm going to take we get 18. So what's the answer? Equals. Right? Now, 28 and 29 and 30 say solve using the percent equation, but I have a feeling that most of you are probably more comfortable with using the A over B is P over 100, because that's kind of what we did the majority of the chapter. So we're going to do this. Now, what information do we have in 28? We know what number goes with is, and we know the percent. We're trying to find the of. So I'm going to replace 5 because it's is over of. I don't know what this is. I know the percent is 25 over 100. I'm going to cross multiply. 5 times 100 is 500. And then I'm going to divide by 25. And I get 20. Now is my answer a number or a percent? It's a number. Yes?
I didn't did it on 27. I did 30 times 16 and I divided it by half and did it.
Yes, that's fine. That's another way to do it too. Yes. On 29, A over B is P over 100 again. Now, do I have two numbers or do I have a number and a percent? Two numbers. Okay. Therefore, which letter am I solving for in this one? P. Now, which number goes for A and which number goes for B? Correct, because is over of. So when I find my answer, I have to write it using a what? A percent sign. So I'm going to take 2.1 times 100, and then I'm going to divide by 700. So I get 0.3%. On number 30, same thing. Do I have two numbers or a percent and a number? Two numbers. So it's the same thing. Of is my base, you could divide the numerator by the denominator, multiply by 100%, or you could say 6/7 is whatever 100 and cross multiply and divide. So if you did write it as a percent, it would be 85.7% if you wrote it as a percent for this one. Now number 33, a bag contains 3 red marbles.
Ooh, let's draw this.
3 red marbles. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can't do white. I'll do gray for white. 1, 2, 2 white, and 7 blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many total marbles do we have?